Welcome back to State of the Union. President Joe Biden and former President Trump are offering voters starkly different visions for America. Last night in Ohio, Trump's message was quite dark. Here with me now to talk about the race and much more is Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota. Thank you so much for coming. A lot to get to. I just want to first ask about what you heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu responding to Senator Schumer's call for new elections in Israel after the war winds down. What is your reaction to what Netanyahu said, which is basically no commitment to that?
I think the most important part for us to remember is that they are a democracy, and we don't like it when people interfere in our democracy. And I think the message from the Prime Minister was, let us run our own country. We appreciate you as our close allies, but we're going to make up our own minds, and we'll do it according to our laws and our customs. And I think we should respect that.
I want to ask about something that is going to be potentially before you in the United States Senate, and that is about TikTok. The House of Representatives overwhelmingly passed a bill that could ban TikTok if its Chinese parent company doesn't sell it. You're on the Intelligence Committee. You have unique insight into the national security implications of China owning an app used by 150 million Americans. Do you think TikTok should be banned in the U.S. if the Chinese owner doesn't sell it? Would you vote for that bill in the Senate?
I'm aware of what the House did, and I actually support the process or the direction that they're trying to go. TikTok does have national defense complications for us. A good example is the fact that using zip codes, they were able to basically harness about 170 million Americans and tell them, look, if you want to get on TikTok, you're going to have to make contact with your House members and tell them not to ban us. That type of approach is something that we're concerned with. But even more importantly is the amount of information that is available at their request to the Chinese Communist Party, should they need it, in terms of access to people and individual information about individuals, who they're connected with, where they live, who their family is, and so forth. That's the kind of stuff that China wants. The other thing they want is to learn how people in the West talk, how we respond, because that's part of what they want to learn when they try to influence us with the type of propaganda when it comes to elections and so forth. So, yeah, it is something. It would be best if they would divest and we'd have an American ownership on that particular platform.
It would be best, or is it something that you want to demand and force legislatively? Would you support that legislatively, and do you want Chuck Schumer to bring it up?
Yeah, look, I think it is something that we're going to have to do something about. The best approach would be if they were to divest and to allow for American ownership. If not, then we're probably going to have to eliminate it from the platforms.
I want to play, Senator, something that Donald Trump said last night while talking about tariffs and the auto industry.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars if I get elected. Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
Now, the Trump campaign says that he was talking about auto workers, but he also called jailed January 6 rioters hostages and unbelievable patriots. What's your reaction to that coming from the presumptive Republican nominee for president of your party?
With regard to the auto workers that he was talking to, he is showing them, or he's telling them, what has been an economic downturn for them. Their wages are not going up as fast as the cost of living has been. Current administration right now has, about an 18% overall increase in most goods and services in the United States, over 35% for energy, over 21% for groceries. And these auto workers are looking at this saying, look, you got to do something because clearly the economy is not working the way that it should. And I think he's focusing on that. And the real question that he's going to be asking is, are you better off today than what you were 4 years ago? And the answer to that is for the vast majority of these individuals is no, we're not. And that's the reason why he is appealing to them. And it's the reason why the Biden administration is in real trouble.
So you just talked about the economy, but the question is about, first of all, just the term bloodbath. whether given what happened on January 6th, that's a term he should be using in any context. But more importantly, he did also call the January 6th rioters hostages and called them patriots. Given all of that, will you endorse him for president? You endorsed Tim Scott before. Are you now going to endorse Trump?
What I have said is Tim Scott was my first choice. I thought he'd make a great president. Tim Scott has since endorsed the former president. What I've said is I will support the Republican nominee. It becomes a binary choice. Either you want to continue with the economic policies that we've got today, or you move back into a position where we actually don't have the world on fire and where our economy is moving forward.
Are you comfortable with the things that he said?
And where we start increasing the economic progress that we've been making. Look, I talk in a different format than what the former president does. It's different than the way that he says it. But right now, if it's a choice between moving forward with the economy the way that it is today, or the way that we could make it, where our gross domestic product moves up and where we're respected around the world, we don't make mistakes like we did in Afghanistan, where we don't make mistakes like what's going on right now in the Red Sea, where we're not taking out the terrorists that are attacking shipping and so forth. I'll take a conservative approach that actually cools the rest of the world down and builds our economy. And I think that's really the choice that we've got before us.
And just to put a button on it, you are endorsing Donald Trump.
I'm endorsing the Republican nominee for the presidency. And if that's Mr. Trump, then that's the best choice of the two choices that we've got.
Senator, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it.